Hey, 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 we're here at the Peace Driven Leader Lounge with none the other, Dr. M, and our amazing guest, Rehema Wandali Ndonka. Did I do that
Yeah.
correctly? All
Yes.
right. Woo! And so you made it, you landed in the right spot. I don't know if you're on your lunch break or if you decided to just pause, somebody shared this with you, however you got here with us, I'm so glad that our paths crossed when it did. This space right here is sacred and strategic, and it is real leaders who desire real transformation. And so with us, I have Rayma, and no one can really introduce themselves better than them. So I'm going to give you the floor, Rayma. Open up, share with us anything you feel led to share about your experience, your background on the topic that we'll be discussing today. And let's just dive right in the conversation.
Thank you so much for having me today, Dr.Minesha. My name is Rehema Wandali Ndonka, and I am 27 years old. I am
Wow.
from Tanzania, East Africa. Yeah, I am the founder and the CEO of Golden Star Consultants. This is an international educational consulting firm that is committed to help African youth to access global opportunities. I founded this company because, reflecting back my background, I am coming from a humble beginning where young women like me never had access to education. But because
Mm.
I am born from a ministerial family where my parents are pastors. They are leading the church, Assemblies of God, of course. So they raised me through faith and determination, and they kept teaching me to believe in God, but also believe in education. So I was raised knowing that as a young woman, I need to depend on God, but also to focus on my education. And from there, I became the best student throughout my education journey. So during my university period, I got a chance of being recommended by my special supervisor to attend a scholarship abroad. So after my undergraduate degree, I joined Masters in Environmental Sciences in Cyprus. And there I met more opportunities than what I went for. Of course, I didn't get a full funded scholarship, but throughout my studies abroad, I explored more opportunities. And upon my return in Tanzania, I founded Golden Star Consultants to help my fellow youth who never had access to information about global opportunities. So until today,
Wow.
yes. So until
Yeah, this is
today,
awesome. Tell me, go ahead. You
yeah.
said, what did you say?
Yeah, until today, my team and I have managed to help more than 100, 100, I can say 200 African youth from different countries to go to different abroad nationalities to have internship and job opportunities, but also study options. And my
My
goal,
God.
eh,
Wow, we
thank
have to
you.
pause for the cause right there. So let's just
Yeah,
really, really like magnify some key points that you shared. So
yeah,
one of the things that really led me to have a conversation with you is that you're not just a peace driven leader, but you're what I call a legacy level
yeah,
leader as well. And so, and usually people that are walking in peace, they get downloads and inspiration and they get clarity about their calling much faster than people that are distracted by all the things that are happening in life. And so what you'll find is peace driven leaders, they are very um engraved, purpose is engraved in their soul,
yeah,
and so their life literally is their work. So when we talk about the work and the life harmony, the work is not just, your corporate level job, it is
yeah,
your calling.
yeah,
And at 27 years old, such a tender age, and you are out here making legacy level
yeah.
impact all over the world. So we say snap, snap, kudos to you.
Thank
Another
you.
thing too that you shared, and I would love to hear a little more about your parents because one of the things that's really big as parent leaders is that we get the opportunity to not just lead a team inside the workforce, but we get the opportunity to lead humans, little humans that's going to grow up to make major impact and change, and we get to make that imprint on their lives, and that is a
Mm-hmm.
very sacred and honorable role. Really, one of the most honorable roles that I can say. One of my highest achievements is being a mother of my 6 kids. And
Yeah.
so, although you don't have children yet, I really would love for you to kind of unpack some of the principles and the standards and the values that your parents instilled in you. So, just off of what you just said, I know that education was a standard. It was something that they valued, right? They may have had a principle around, being more educated means being more opportunities, right? That could be a principle that they stood by. They wanted you to have a relationship with God, so you knew that that was a value, that they valued God and their spirituality. And
Yeah.
so, what were some other principles or standards or values that you were able to just observe through your parents' gens, right? The way they
Yeah.
lived their life outside of how much they went to church that
Yeah.
really said, you know what? I love this. I'm inspired by them.
Yeah.
What are some of those things?
Okay, as I said earlier, my family is not that much rich or that much poor, but my parents, what I have learned through my parents when I was growing up was love. They used to help others, despite they never had too much. But you could see my father and my mom, they could get some things and then they would go to give out to people. And then that was really touching my heart. I was like, okay, I'll need to help others as well with love, with tender, with passion. You understand? Even if like we could go somewhere and then my dad could see somebody is hungry outside or they need something, they would just say, oh, let's drop here and let's buy something for this person. My mom could gather some of her clothes and say, like, let me go and give these women in the prison, let me go and feed them, let's buy soaps. You understand? But also
Mm.
they used to treat people with integrity. My mom used to be very faithful with whatever she could get or she could buy from a shop. Sometimes she could go and maybe somebody would forget change. You understand? They say, no, this is too much. You have exceeded this money. You have to, they used to give them back to people. So I was like, okay, integrity, I can say,
Honesty,
being
right?
honest, but also they used to teach me to protect my inner self because they used to tell me that everybody has a grace inside us. So they used to tell me if I want my star to shine, I have to make sure if I am focusing on finding my way out in life, I should make sure I don't use dishonest ways, that I should make sure I work hard because God said once we work hard, God will bless our efforts. God will stretch our hands more and more. That's why as a young woman, I never accepted dishonest ways. I never accepted to be spoiled by big men. And of course, when I was studying and throughout my journey as the CEO, as a leader, I met some challenges, but you could find people from outside, they could tell me, we'll give you this amount, you just do this to us. You understand? But as a
Mm.
woman and as a born again lady, I could say no because my parents have laid that foundation to me. So I'm
Oh,
like,
wow.
yeah, so I'm like, no, I don't want
Wow.
to disappoint my family. I don't want to disappoint the kingdom of God as well. So those are
Wow.
some little values that I have learned
Big
from my
values,
family.
big
Yeah, yeah,
values,
yeah,
right? And
yeah,
a lot of parents, one of the things that we tend to struggle with oftentimes, especially when you mentioned your parents were middle class. So
yeah.
even when you live a life where you have more than where you came from, what we
Mm-hmm.
tend to do and have to resist from doing is that
Yeah,
you want to give your kids everything that you didn't have.
yeah,
And it's a very thin line to that, because the very thing that got you where you are was because of what you didn't have,
yeah,
And so when you just give your kids things, it really prevents them from being able to have this grounded level of appreciation for life and for the little things and
yeah,
the big picture of the why we're here. And so I really commit. I have never met your parents before, but I can just from my interaction with you, I can see that they were very intentional. And that's what it's about. When you talk about peace driven leadership, when you talk about legacy living, you all, this is the type of stuff that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Where if someone was to have an encounter with your child, would they say, "Man, I want to meet your parents"? That is one of
Mm.
the most greatest compliments that a person
Yeah.
can get for me.
Yeah.
That they've had such an
Exactly.
impactful, experience that they want to see who imparted in you. And
Yeah.
so thank you so much for, sharing those things, because the people that are listening, sometimes, when you get involved in work and life, the hours are high. I mean, I experienced it. I watched my mom's dream turn into a drug. We don't sign up
Mm-hmm.
for that. We don't
Yeah.
say that's what we want to do, but work gets so demanding, and it literally it can suck the energy, the life, and the love out of
Yeah.
you. And
Yeah.
so I don't know if your parents had a family mission statement, but it's this one of the things that I really am an advocate of is helping corporate professionals, leaders of leaders, brand their family, their last name, right? And
Yeah.
being able to weave in those principles. So, for example, our family's mission is love, live, give, and inspire. And so, love unconditionally, live intentionally, give generously, and inspire others to do the same. So, if you ask
Yeah.
any of my kids, they'll say that, but it's not just the words; it's the lifestyle. And I can bet my bottom buck that your parents had, if they didn't have like a formalized mission statement, they had a
Yeah.
very clear understanding of what they wanted to impart in you. So that's really awesome. Tell us a little bit more about the work that you're doing in the space of education to really make big impact for the young ladies in your space who are bright. They may not come from families that have the financial resources, but you are literally giving them a gift of expansion so that they can go out into the world and get an education and experience life from a different lens, and then
Yeah.
come back home and
Yeah.
share it. So I don't want to give everything away, but tell me more about this initiative that you have going, and what lights you up the most about your work.
Okay, yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm into educational field and I work as an educational consultant. So we connect young Africans to global opportunities for work and internships. So after they graduate, or we train the young girls in secondary schools with career guidance. We give them good educational pathway towards their future career advancement. So after they graduate, we connect them with these global opportunities for jobs and internships. So these are paid
Awesome.
internships abroad, yes. And as
Mm.
I said, my journey abroad opened these doors for me, and I was like, no, I don't want this to just occur to me. I know many Africans are still struggling with unemployment rate, with poverty. So I need to preach to the Africans, I need to preach to the world that education is still the key, but they just need to believe, not only relying on local doors, they need to try the international doors. Most people, they are still having this mindset. So we do a lot of mindset shifting programs to teach people, to
Mm.
tell them that it's possible for somebody to go abroad to study, to go abroad to work, to go abroad to attend a conference, to meet people. Because in Africa, as you
Mm.
know, in village places or even in townships, people, they are still having this kind of mindset that, no, if I go in the US, I meet people, they harass me, they won't treat me good, they
Mhm.
won't pay me good. But we see Africans working there in the US and they're getting good jobs, you understand, they get good pay,
Mm.
they come back, they do a lot of transformations. So for some of people that we have helped, they have came back in Africa, they have made a lot of establishments in their families, they have built good homes, they have added revenues to our governments, you understand. We have seen them changing their lives, and that is the one that keep pushing me to expand this mission, not only in Tanzania, and until now we are recruiting to almost 7 countries in Africa. And my team and I
Wow. You go, girl.
yes.
Wow. That's phenomenal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's
Yes.
big.
Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
we have this big vision because we receive orders from our partners abroad, our employers. They say, okay, we need to recruit this number. So we have a job to travel. I travel with my team in different African countries to reach people in the villages, to reach people whom they never had access to this kind of information.
So
So
what are
when
some
we,
of your strategies when you're going out there to bring
yeah,
them, to change their mindset? Did you offer food to get them to come in to talk, or do you play music as you go down the neighborhoods and then talk over a megaphone, or what is the way that you kind of rally people up to share your mission?
yes, of course, we are youth, so we need to be very engaging. We do print the
Right.
t-shirts, we write them our motto, don't be limited, be borderless. We inspire them through giving them gifts of our merchandise, like we can provide cups, we can provide maybe key holders, we can provide
Okay, like
bottles.
merch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, just to
that's
bring them
smart.
together so that they can like this kind of information. And of course, moving around in Africa, I also found that a lot of places, especially in rural areas, they have misvalued a lot about education. And even young women, they are no longer prioritized when it comes to education access. So this has really helped a lot of majority, especially in rural areas, in Malawi especially. If they see me now, they're like, yo, you need to become our president, because if not Rehema, we could never even traveled abroad. So I'm also
Wow.
energized, like, to see the young minds are changed and they are reshaped, but also the way they are being transformed, and it
Right.
really, yeah, keeps the mission
Yeah,
alive.
I want to talk a little bit about the gift of expansion, because just hearing you talk, that is exactly what you're bringing to them, an
Yeah,
opportunity to expand their mind. And for those of you who are listening, I want to give you a pause moment to really see how you can give a gift of expansion to your
yeah.
team, to your family, to your spouse. I'll tell you just a real example. It was about last weekend. My
Mm-hmm.
husband and I, we were traveling, and he's an artist, and he hasn't done
Okay.
any art since before we met, almost 20 years. But he has tons of beautiful abstract art around his home. And so one of the things that I wanted to do was just expand his thought. And the best way to do is, like, when you put someone in an environment, you don't even have to say words. Like, once you get them to the point where they could just go abroad and they see
Yeah.
life differently, you
Mm-hmm.
cannot turn that off. I don't care what. Once you see it, you
Yeah.
can't unsee it. And it's one of the most
Exactly.
powerful leadership um strategies, I would even say, that you can
Yeah.
do as a parent leader and as a leader in the corporate space. And even, a leader who's also operating in their own business. It works across the board. Is finding ways to give the gift of expansion,
Yeah.
because you can share your vision and people can get inspired, but when they see it with their own eyes and they feel it,
Yeah.
especially if it allows them to travel. So with my husband, I took him to this art experience. It wasn't an expo, it was a full experience. And it was just the lighting and the way they presented the art, the
Mm.
music. And I mean, the room was dark, and they highlighted the art pieces, and they had like so many, they use like technology to create these illusions. And the experience was incredible, and he still talks about it to this day. And so it sparks something within that keeps that image in their
Yeah.
mind. And it's like
Yeah.
this I need more of this, more opportunities like this. And like
Yeah.
it just turns their brains on. And
Yeah.
so tell us a little bit about a testimonial that you feel like really touched your heart the most, that you can remember, a particular student that just really stayed with you.
Yeah, of course, I receive a lot of testimonial messages from my candidates. I call them our trainees. But the one that really touched me, we had this girl. She was left alone with, I think, the guy who they were dating, and she got like pregnant the pregnancy, and then that guy left her, so she was broken a lot. She couldn't find any life. So when I was sharing my story on the stage, that my journey to go abroad started when my boyfriend left me alone, and then I was trying to find my way out. So she was inspired by the story, and then she was like, I'm also in this situation. You really inspired and sparkled me. I just need also to try this way. So she tried this way, and then she went abroad. She got a job in Germany, and right now
What?
yes.
That's
So right
amazing.
now she's taking care of her kid. Her kid is now studying in an international school. She's also building her own house. So I'm so happy. And when she's giving all these testimonies to me, I really felt touched. I was like, okay, so what we are doing is really bringing impact and really life transformations to people's lives.
Mm,
Yeah, so that was the best one that I have
wow.
ever received. Yeah, yeah,
That's why I really love working with women as well, is because, like, call me biased, but I mean, statistics show this, that when you impact one woman, she not only impacts her baby, and I mean,
Ex-
but she goes back and like ripples
yeah.
effects on everything she
Mm-hmm.
touches. It's like we
Yeah,
just illuminate positive
yeah,
change. When you get a revelation
yeah,
on something, so that's so touching. And
yeah,
I can only imagine how that must feel to hear people say that your story is the
yeah,
one that shifted their reality.
yeah,
And even for those of you who are listening that's something that you can be intentional about as well. Sometimes we look at our story and we take for granted how much
yeah,
that story can impact someone else. And
yeah,
I truly believe that's why we go through what we go through,
yeah,
and so that we can be able to pay it back forward to a person who doesn't see the way. And
exactly.
so
Yes.
I hope that this particular podcast is a gentle reminder that our life matters, that
Yeah,
you matter,
yeah,
the work that you do matters, and
exactly.
especially to those people who has had the vision. And I would love for
Yeah,
you to talk to these people. There's people who are listening, leaders of leaders who have devoted a large part of their life to their
yeah,
work, but there's something inside of them, a very silent voice that really rests on them, especially at night when the house is quiet, that says that there's more. There's more. There's more that I'm calling for you. I'm calling
yeah,
for you higher. I'm calling for you higher. Whether it's a book, whether it's that charitable organization, that mission, whatever it is, the sound of my voice, you know exactly what it is,
yeah,
but there are obstacles, that seemingly humongous obstacles
yeah,
that sit in the way and create this fear
yeah,
that isn't really real, but it feels real. Because you're so young and fearless, what would you share to that leader to help them to see that it's better to take that leap? It's
yeah,
better, you
yeah.
know? What would you tell that leader on today?
Thing I would love to tell them, they should not afraid of anything, because reaching here I am today, it's because I decided to take that hard decisions. People, they looked down at myself, and some they said, no, this job is not for the women, but I never listened to those external noises. I had to calm myself down inside my room. I was alone. It was in the midst of the night, and then I had to cry out loud to God. And I was like, God, if you really mean me to take this path, then give me the strength. Make sure you create that inner man inside me to be stronger to take this vision, because I am not working for myself. I am doing this for your people. The community I'm going to save is yours. So God, lead me, give me the strength, give me the wisdom, give me the good leadership style.
Mm.
And then I made that decision, and boom, it just happened like this. And along the way, I was meeting a lot of challenges and obstacles, but those things, they made me stronger, and they kept shaping me and gave me clarity towards this vision. So the more I met obstacles, the more I met challenges, I was seeing like the picture of my vision coming to a clear direction, because God was giving me clarity from those confusions. You understand? So if somebody doesn't want to take a step today, it means you are still in a shadow. But once you start taking your steps, and once you start making that decision, like, okay, I'll go for it, it means you are stepping out of that shadow to the real picture of your vision, of your direction, of your ambition, of your dream, of your anything that you need to do on this world. So they need to wake up, and they need to awaken that true calling inside them. Hearing the external noises and comparing themselves to others won't make sense. That inner voice, the deepest voice inside anybody, when you are silent, in the silent moment, that is the real calling of God towards your calling and towards your vision. So they should just dare to start.
Oh, that is awesome. Wow, I can tell
Yeah.
that you really inspire people often. It is totally
Yeah.
in you. It's a part of who you are.
Yeah.
And I've shared this, and it's your first time listening. You may not be aware, but we have an app called I Lead, We Rise. And it is
Okay.
such a powerful tool. It uses AI technology and the biggest component, which is your heart, mind, and soul, to be able to
Okay.
co-collaborate with this app so that you stay anchored in your
Okay.
leadership and that you
Okay.
don't lose, that you don't gain the world and lose your soul. And so
Okay.
this is a great way, you all, as you're listening to everything that Rhema said, for you to be able to go back home to yourself and be in that place of silence, like she said.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
solitude that sometimes we run from is exactly where we need to be able
Yeah.
to get the fortitude and the clarity, and the courage that is necessary to do this type of legacy work. Because you're absolutely
Yeah.
right. It's not
Yeah.
easy. It's
Yeah.
fulfilling,
Yeah.
but it's not easy. But I do believe that there is a spiritual fortitude that we have. It's almost like
Exactly.
having a baby. As painful as that experience is, there's people
Mm-hmm.
with multiple babies. And hello. And so it's like, it's so painful. Why would you go and do it again? Because
Mm-hmm.
it is, when you are created to do something, the pain doesn't stop you, because the vision and the outcome is so much powerful than the pain. So you
Yeah.
all heard it here first, from the Peace Driven Leader with Rhema. Oh, you came out, but now you're back with us. And so, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I
It is
do.
it is 7:30, 7:40 ish over there, PM over there, and in Africa. And so I just would love for you to let people know where they can find your work. If people wanted to sponsor a child, or, maybe they can't create a full mission right now. They don't have the capacity for that, but they want to be able to collaborate with you in your efforts. Where would you recommend that they go?
Okay, at Golden Star Consultants, we have something that is called Golden Star Foundation. We have a big vision to recruit more than 1,500 candidates, for example, for the 2026. But as you know, most of African families are not yet financially stable. And as you know, to process all of these procedures, from applications, visa applications, flight tickets, a little bit costly. And in
Right.
Africa, banks, financial institutions, they sometimes make delays helping these candidates. So we write to them different proposals so that they can sponsor the candidates. The government have our proposals and our calls, but the response is a little bit low. So for anybody who is looking at me or is listening at me today, I need, with my team, we are looking forward to raise a fund through Golden Star Foundation so that to be able to finance our fellow African youth who need to access these global opportunities. Not only this, we always give out scholarships for young girls in the street, young girls who are left out with their men, or young girls who are just outside the street. They don't have anybody to help them out. They need to access
Right.
education. We also help to empower youth who just need their entrepreneurs, but they don't have fund to raise the project. So these are the areas that would wish to get support. For anybody who is watching us today and would need to collaborate with us or collaborate with me achieving this mission, I think and I see this is the biggest place where we can touch people's lives and we can make really life transformations to their lives, and we can impact the community and change the world together. Africa needs me a lot. Africa needs my team. So I also need
Yeah.
some people, and I also need organizations. I also need individual person to hold hands with me so that
Yeah.
one day, yeah, our names could be written somewhere in Africa, and then they say, wow, this is
Yeah.
because of these people we have made it in life. Yeah. So helping
Wow.
me to achieve my mission and helping me to achieve this vision is just what I am looking forward to. So I am welcoming
Awesome.
funders, organizations, families to join hands with me so that I can really make impact in Africa, but also in the world as well. Yeah. Thank
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. And
you.
definitely send
Yeah.
over the link. And you all look in the comments, especially if you're watching from YouTube. Look in the comments section. I also posted there for your convenience and check her out. I don't typically do that, but I love your work. I love what you stand for. I love your passion behind your work. And I really do believe that what you're doing is making a difference in the hearts and minds of young girls. And for
Yeah.
those of you who weren't aware, I don't even think you knew this, Raymond, but I had a charitable organization for young girls for 12 years, ages 7
Oh,
to 18. Yes. And
okay.
so, um,
Congratulations.
yeah, absolutely. It was one of my favorite seasons in life. And
Okay.
so I know what it feels like to see a younger version of yourself and being
Mm-hmm.
able to be that bridge for them and to give them guidance. You know, guidance
Yeah.
goes a long way. And a lot of
Yeah.
times that's the difference between a person really ending up incarcerated or ended up,
Yeah.
on welfare versus ended up self-sustaining and self-governing and really leading strong in their leadership. So thank you so very much. That is our time as we land the plane on today. You heard it from Rima, a 27-year-old legacy leader out here making major positive change and impact. If she can do it, you know good and well that there's nothing that should stop us from doing it. Don't let life get in the way. Don't let the work of your corporate position or your business get in the way of doing what truly matters to you. And that
Mm-hmm.
evolves over time, you know. And like I said, maybe you aren't launching the next organization, but maybe you can think of an organization or a cause or a mission that you can hold hands, like Raymond said. I love that
Yeah.
visual hands and being
Yeah.
able to make impact across the globe right there from your desk. How
Yeah.
powerful is that? All right. So welcome again. Thank you again for being a part of our lounge and sitting with us at the Peace Driven Leader Lounge. If you are listening, just know that you are in the right place. Listen, I know that you're high valued because people are wanting you. You have high demands on your schedule everywhere you turn. People are putting something on your calendar because you truly matter and making a big impact in the world. And we love
Yeah.
that you could come and sit with us, carve out some time out of your day, and you sat with us on today. We're so grateful for that. As we close, I want you to remember peace driven leadership is not something that you go and find, it's something
Mm.
that you create. And
Yeah.
this is your moment to create it. Until next
Yeah.
time, I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye bye for
Yeah.
now.